Boxing Truth here. Quick last-minute prediction video between the title fight tonight, later today on Bounce TV. Robert Easter Jr. defending his IBF lightweight strap against Denis Shafikov, a mandatory challenger, and what should be Easter Jr.'s best opponent to date, his toughest opponent to date. And this fight should be a good fight. I did a video about this fight a while back, so I might as well just bang out a quick prediction video on this fight. Both guys have a common opponent in Richard Comney. Both guys have been in good, tough fights with Comney. Shafikov handled Comney a lot better than Easter did. Easter got knocked down. He went in a life and death struggle, and there's people that thought he lost that fight. Shafikov, he had a tough fight with Comney. It was competitive, but Shafikov was constantly backing Comney up, constantly landing the better shots, and that's why he won the fight, and won the fight more clearly because he just made more of a statement against Comney than Easter Jr. did. It was still a tough fight. Comney was tough as nails, took a lot of shots, and he threw a hell of a lot of punches in that fight, over 1,000 punches, I believe. But he was backing up the entire fight. Couldn't deal with the pressure and volume of Shafikov, and that's why he lost the fight more clearly in that encounter than he did against Easter Jr., where some people felt he won against Easter Jr. But this fight, obviously, you see the physical differences between the two fighters. I mean, Robert Easter is about almost 6 feet tall. He's got a 76-inch reach, and Shafikov is 5'5", only a 68.5-inch reach. So Shafikov has to deal with a lot in this fight. He has to deal with the physical disadvantages that will be presented to him in this fight. He's got to deal with a long, tall, lanky guy. It's nothing new for Shafikov. It's pretty much the norm for him. He's dealt with a lot of tall fighters. He's always the shorter guy coming in, so he knows how to fight tall fighters. He's shown it in the past, but now he's fighting an even taller guy, an even lankier guy, and a guy that brings a little bit more punching power than what Shafikov dealt with against Francis Barthélemy. Barthélemy's pretty much the same stature, a little shorter, not as big as a reach, but he's a big, tall guy that Shafikov had to deal with. Shafikov was winning that fight. He was whipping Barthélemy's ass in the first half of the fight, and then the fight changed when Shafikov received the cut, and the fight started getting a lot closer and competitive. I'm not really sure who won that fight. It was a very good, close fight that Shafikov was winning up until the cut he received around the 7th or 8th round, and the fight changed after he got cut. It messed with his rhythm, messed with his momentum, and Barthélemy was able to get back into the fight and able to get a decision. So Shafikov is getting another crack at the title. This is his third opportunity at a world title. 2 losses to Barthélemy and Miguel Vasquez prior to this. So it could be the third time's a charm, or this could be an even taller order or even tougher task, because he's going to be just the B-side opponent coming in, the challenger. He's fighting a guy in his hometown in Toledo. He's a defending champion, making the second defense of his title. Easter is still relatively young, still relatively inexperienced, but he's a handful with his size. He's got a good right hand. He's not a guy that really uses his height or reach much. He's not a distance fighter. He's a guy that likes to get in punching range, likes to land his right hand, likes to land big shots, and he's a physical guy. So it's going to be a good fight. We're going to see a real fight between Easter Jr. and Shafikov. Shafikov is relentless, puts a lot of pressure. He has to, because he's a much shorter guy. He needs to get inside. He needs to get it within punching range and do damage. And he throws a lot of punches. He's in great condition. He's got a great chin. He's never been knocked down. He's coming off good performances. He already whooped one of other Al Haymon prospects back recently when he knocked out Jamal Herring He's going to need a knockout in this fight. It's going to be tough to get a decision against Easter Jr. in his hometown. He's the A side in the fight. He's the champion. So, unfortunately, Shafikov is fighting at an uneven playing field. He's the opponent. He's on the road, and he's going to need to do more than just go the distance. He needs to get a knockout or a very definitive win to win this fight. And unfortunately, Shafikov, very good fighter, probably whoops Easter Jr.'s ass in a lot of rounds in this fight, puts a lot of pressure, because Easter Jr. is still somewhat green, somewhat a little protected. I mean, he barely won the strap against Comney. He had an easy title defense against Luis Cruz, a very soft, voluntary opponent, just a homecoming to look good. He looked good in the fight, dominated, but now he's fighting a real opponent. He's fighting a top-rated, #1 contender for the IBF, and Shafikov, who has been in some serious battles, has been battle-tested, knows how to get inside, knows how to land punches even against taller opponents. The only thing is that's lacking for Shafikov is real bone-crunching punching power. He doesn't really have great punching power at the world-class level. Can break you down, can beat you up, but he doesn't have that equalizer in his punching power. He can't get you out of there with one shot. It's an accumulation of shots if he stops you, and it's just too much to overcome. I think Shafikov will give a good account of himself, may even arguably win the fight. But ultimately, I'm going with Robert Easter Jr. by a very close, competitive, controversial, unanimous decision. It will be a good fight. Easter Jr. will be tested. He might even get exposed. He might even get his ass whipped in some rounds. But he'll make it competitive enough. He'll make it close enough. May even have some big moments where he lands that big right hand and may even hurt Shafikov. Because Easter Jr., he's a much bigger puncher than what Shafikov has fought prior to this. He's even a bigger guy, a lankier guy, and he brings in a bigger punch. And he likes to fight. He likes to get in the trenches. He likes to land big shots. It could be his demise early, but ultimately, he'll make it competitive enough. He'll make it close enough. He'll have some moments of his own to where he'll do enough to get a decision in his hometown. And unfortunately, it'll be an unlucky losing streak for world title shots for Shafikov, and it'll probably be his last opportunity at 32 years of age. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.